Hi everyone, I am Donna Reed and this is Donna Reed Talks Voice. And today I am going to be working with a woman who I've never met before. She's in Germany. Hi Rebecca, will you introduce yourself please?
Hi, so yeah, I'm Rebecca and I'm in Germany and I live in a town called Essen. I am almost finished with my studies in vocal pedagogy and I already work as a vocal coach and a singer. And in my studies, I've been trained classically only, but I've always been singing musical and pop in my whole life actually, and that's mostly the thing I teach. and like about 2 years ago, I had my first singing lesson with a teacher that was based in the functional singing, and that just changed everything and opened up a whole new world. And yeah, I've never looked back since. So.
Wonderful. May I ask who is the teacher?
And Noelle Turner, she's
Yes,
actually from the
Noelle.
USA. Yeah,
Noelle studied with my late husband Cornelius Reed, and we're friends, and I know her very, very well, and she's a wonderful
she's
teacher. Yes.
great. She's amazing. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned functional because Cornelius named the way he taught functional voice training. Now, functional meaning how do things actually function? So it's not a theoretical, weird, idealized thing like, oh, you need to do this, you need to place this, everybody needs to support, everybody needs to do XYZ. It's a functional approach in that what is this voice in front of me doing? And how am I going to change the vocal environment, the pitch intensity and vowel pattern to allow that voice to be freer, to allow that voice in this moment to do something that's a little bit more free, not based on a theory. You do A, B, C, D, and then everybody does the same thing, but what is going on functionally right at the moment. So I'm glad you brought up functional, gave me the chance to explain that to my listeners. So, okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to definitely work on that mix, which I'm guessing it could be a little challenging, right?
Can be. I think the chest voice is the most challenging part for me. That's like always very slow and doesn't want to come in. It's starting to, but yeah, that was the biggest challenge.
Okay, fine. Well, we'll see what's going on, and then we'll see where we will go from there.
I have to say, I had a pretty stressful week, and yesterday I had a sore throat. Today everything's fine, but maybe it's everything's a bit slow. I don't know.
Okay, okay. And it doesn't feel sore right now.
No, no, yesterday, but today's fine.
Okay, usually with a sore throat, it's annoying, but usually you can sing through it if you had
Mhm.
to. Even a cold, even a head cold with your nose stuffed up and all of that. The one thing that's difficult to sing through is, of course, if the vocal cords are swollen, absolutely, but also if you have a cough. That's really difficult to sing through. But usually a sore throat or a little bit of a cold or whatever, one could sing through that, but we'll hear what's going on.
All
So
right.
as I do with everybody, do the exhale. Inhale as you bring your arms up. Exhale. And again, take your time. And again. Beautiful, beautiful. And by the way, you have gorgeous hair. I just had to say.
Thank you.
So let's see. Even though you say the chest voice is the problem for you, I always start in the head voice anyway, especially because I don't know your voice. So I want
Yeah.
to see what it wants to do. All right. So let's do that with an ooh and see what happens. Yep. easy, nothing shutting down, right?
Yeah,
Now, have you sung today at all, or is this the first time?
pretty much the first time. I've sung like 3 notes.
Beautiful. That's absolutely fine. I actually prefer when I work with people that they come without having sung before, so I can hear exactly where their voice is at without they're trying to warm up or do something or make it sound good or bad or whatever. Actually have to tell my students who come on a regular basis, don't come warmed up. You don't need to be warmed up. I just want to hear what your voice is doing,
Yeah.
especially when we're working technically. Now, it would be different if we were working repertoire. Of course, you have to come all warmed up and all of that, but that's fine. That's easy. That's not shutting down. Let me see how I want to do this. All right, I'll tell you what, let's go right for it. Do one note there and go from an A to an ah and do A, ah, ya, 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 ya. Let's hear what happens. Great. Okay, now those first notes that we did, not this last one, but all those other notes that we did seem very easy. Nothing feels like it's shutting down?
No.
No, beautiful. Now let's do this one again. What I'm going to have you do, same A, I, 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 and your tongue seems to be moving very easily. That feels fine, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So what I want you to do is look up, really put your chin up and sing the same thing. A, I, 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 I. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Now, remember, when we're this low, I'm going to set it up a little bit differently. When we're this low, you cannot use a lot of air. So you have to don't even breathe before you start to sing it. And the reason I'm having you put your head up, because you feel that something wants to shut down when you get there, right? The reason I'm having you put your head up is if you put your head up and you try to swallow, it's very difficult to swallow. Those swallowing muscles are the ones that get in the way when we sing, when there's constriction. So again, this is a Cornelius thing. He came up with this decades ago, and because he was so brilliant. And he figured, well, since it's hard to swallow when you put your chin up, then if you keep your head up when you're trying to sing, if the voice wants to shut down, it might neutralize those muscles so that they won't grab on you. So that's why I'm having you put your head up. So you're going to put your head up, same idea, but we're going to do it this way. You're going to do it on the A from the top down, A, and just let it, keep your head up and let it sink down to whatever it wants to sink down to. Exactly. Now, you hear that little gravelly thing that's there, right?
Yeah.
Put the energy right where that little gravelly sound is.
All right.
So again, and no air, no push, but just kind of aim those little vibrations to that gravelly sound. Okay, good enough. Now we don't have a singy sound yet, but we got you down there. I'm going to add one more thing to it. We're going to add the ya ya ya. Same thing, a ya 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 ya. Same idea. Put the energy right there. Let the back of the tongue move. Keep your head up. All right, it still doesn't want to get into a singy chest voice. It wants to get more into that like vocal fry-y thing. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do, I'm sure, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not sure. Have you ever done a pure falsetto with when you study with Noelle?
Yeah, we've done it, not much, but I've done it with her.
Okay, we're going to do that right now. So again, very, very breathy. In fact, I'll just have you imitate what I'm doing. So, real breathy. That's it. Don't push the air too hard, but that's the right idea. Great. Now go back to this guy. Put your head up. See what happens. Oh, you had a little bit, you had it just a little bit with the first A. Do the A without the ya. Just the A and really back off, back off, back off. All right, and then it didn't do it. Almost for a moment. I'm going to try one more time, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Again with the pure falsetto. Ooh, 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 ooh. Great. Now do it this way. With the A again. A. Put your head up. All right, almost. Now, what I was doing is, again, Cornelius wrote about separating the registers when one register is a little bit weak and it's not manifesting the way it should. So we did the pure falsetto, which isolates the little cricothyroid muscles. There's two muscle systems, cricothyroids and the arytenoids, and that isolates the cricothyroids. Once you isolate the cricothyroids, then you try to isolate the arytenoids, which is what we're doing down here with this chest voice, right? So then you try to isolate one to the other so that one does not interfere with the other. So that's what I was attempting to do. But that bottom note, which is the G below the middle C, just to let you know where you were, it still wasn't quite doing what it needed to do. Now that's interesting because you did the B flat, A flat very well, and that was quite easy. But then that G, and I'm guessing in your voice, you probably should have the G there. But that's all right. I'm not going to worry about that right now because now I'm going to see, once you separate the registers that way, the next thing you need to do immediately is put them back together again. So now we're going to sing ah, just ah that way, and see where your voice is at. So obviously we didn't break anything because that sounded beautiful. Let's see where that wants to go. Good. That sounds fabulous. Now, I'm trying to figure out why that chest voice doesn't want to come and play with us. I'm going to have you do this. Same thing you just did. But what I'm going to have you do is I want you to really move around like this. Yeah, let the whole rib cage move, let your shoulders move, sing the same thing, and let's see what happens, okay? And let it go wherever, it doesn't have to be smooth. Yep. Yep. All right, that's not it. What I think is happening is, oh, there we go. Now that's a better picture. What I think is happening is as we were doing this, I noticed that you noticed the break that was happening in your voice going up and down. I think the chest voice, when you do the pop stuff, I think the chest voice coming up in from the D, E flat, E, F area, I think it's not efficient. I mean, it sounds good, but I think there might be something shutting down with that. And therefore, if the vocal cords are not quite efficient, they sound like they're maybe a little bit overly thick, then they're not capable of relaxing back down to the bottom there. I think that's what's going on. And again, I'm just kind of doing this with this very short lesson, wondering if there's something immediately that I can do to help that. See, the pure falsetto is not going to help that. We have to get a different mix with the chest voice. Let me try it this way. Let's do from the top down again on an E vowel to see what kind of an E wants to happen. Okay, that was the G again, but we got a little bit of a better fit, a better chest voice on back on these low ones down to the A flat. So the chest voice faded out when you did this, and there was more of a chest voice in those middle voices there, and then there was more of a break going there. Let's do it with an ah on the top. So ah, and just come down and hear what happens. Okay, now do the same thing, but be a little bit chestier with it, and let me hear what happens. Do you see how the bottom one gets a little weak? Yeah, so it's the way you're doing the chest voice there that then makes the bottom one get weak. If these guys were more efficient, this one shouldn't fade out.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the basic problem is. Now, when you did these, it's not like they're constricted, because when you sang them, it's not like they're tight, but they're just not efficient. I'll tell you what, do the same thing, but do it on an ah, and let me hear what happens. Ah. That helped. You see, then the bottom one wasn't as weak.
Yeah.
So I think the chest voice ah that you do is a little bit too heavy. The ah kind of lightens it up. It puts it, I put it in air quotes, a little bit quote unquote higher. So that maybe you have to think of the chest voice not oh down there, but a little bit more with the ahs. Let's do a couple more with this. Same on the ah. Almost there. Do it again. Think up as you go down.
Right.
So think that the bottom note is kind of where the top ones are. And again, it's just a thought. It's just to see what happens. And again, you really back off on the bottom. Yeah, that helps. That helps. Same here. So think up as you go down. Don't let the bottom note go down. Almost. That's all right. Do it again, one more time. Notice the cavity in the back. Does the cavity maintain the ah position? Does it not? Does the cavity want to shut down? Does it want to open up? Does something want to move? See if the ah keeps the same ah. Just notice what happens. That was actually closer, even though that had that little gravelly sound, right?
And it felt more similar.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking again, there's a couple things going on. The chest voice in that middle there is not quite efficient, and also the resonance adjustment is shifting on the bottom note where I think something is maybe depressing the larynx. So to get to the bottom note, something may be going, oh. That's why my instinct in the very beginning was to have you put your head up a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, I'm guessing I may not be 100%. I would have to, like work with you a few extra times to find out what's going on with this, that, or the other thing. But initially, those are my ideas as to why that chest voice is getting a little funky on the bottom.
Yeah.
So as you're working, think of those things. Think of how that works. Try with the a, or maybe even the a vowel. The a or the a may help. Don't do the ah. The one thing I think you don't want on the bottom is ah, that sound. I think that's going to over depress the larynx a little bit. And watch that when you do the more chesty mixes in the middle, just watch that that's not so heavy. It's more toward that ah. It's not but a little bit higher. I would work it that way. I think that's the way you need to work it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I wish I could have fixed it in like 2 seconds, but it's something you're gonna have to work on.
But now I got an idea.
Good. Which is actually good for my listeners to watch, because not everything is a quick fix. Sometimes we just have to little by little work on something and then free it up. As long as we know the functional right direction to go, then we have a game plan.
Yeah, that's true.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching Donna Reed Talks Voice. If you have any questions for me about this episode, or if you'd like to join me on a future episode, please visit donnareedtv.com and click Contact.